where's the pickle? Where's the wow? Where's the thing that I add that is out of proportion to the circumstances? It could be an experience. It doesn't have to be a tangible thing. It could be the way I feel when I'm working with you. Where's the out of proportion? Where's the random and unexpected? And how is the connection on the people side during this? Those are the first three things I'll ask an organization is, are we doing our job? Are we doing it well? If not, let's coach better. And then let's start looking for ways that we can do those three things on a regular basis.
So now, please welcome the official, non-official, non-sponsor of the Savannah Bananas, but a big fan. Please welcome John Fletcher.
Well, welcome back to 15 on Fridays with Fletch. This interview is so compelling, so strong. Michael Hoffman, Mr. Positively Outrageous Service, has so many great things to tell us. And here we are again, Michael Hoffman, Mr. Positively Outrageous Service, gems of wisdom that we just can't stop talking about, because when you're dealing with the highest level of customer service, which therefore brings customer loyalty and also employee or team retention, I mean, that's just critical to the success of a company. So if we want our customers, and also realize we have internal customers, our team members, but we've got our external customers who are the people that write us a check or pay us digitally now. What would we do differently if we want everybody to rave about us?
I think the foundation of those things, that's the conversation is, okay, we're actually doing our job, which is, by the way, that is job one. Do your job, do it well. That is not a wow. That's expectations. I'm giving you money for with expectations. That expectation is that you do it well and that you do it completely. The differentiation is those three things. Where's the pickle? Where's the wow? Where's the thing that I add that is out of proportion to the circumstances? It could be an experience. It doesn't have to be a tangible thing. It could be the way I feel when I'm working with you. Where's the out of proportion? Where's the random and unexpected? And how is the connection on the people side during this? Those are the first three things I'll ask an organization is, are we doing our job? Are we doing it well? If not, let's coach better. And then let's start looking for ways that we can do those three things on a regular basis. Out of proportion, that they didn't expect, they didn't see this coming. Random, unexpected, and can we add emotion? Can we add play, especially positive? Can we add positive play?
Well, I think that makes all kinds of sense. And as we're looking at a way to create the wows, to plus things up, is a good place to go maybe to like Google reviews and look for negative reviews of companies in our industry and therefore identify the pain points that we can go to create the wow moments from? Or where do you go to find the wow moments, opportunities?
That is an excellent question. I think we can all make up the negative things. We know what the things that we hate, especially with the type of companies that we work with. The question I want you to ask is, what do your customers want? So one of the first things we would do with an organization is, when was the last time you asked your customers what a wow was? They're the ones that are giving you the money. Ask them what, first of all, what's expected? What do they get? How do they like it? How can we improve? Those are great questions. But I love the question is, if we were to take it to another level, what would really impress you? And let them tell you, because they will. It's one of the things Andrew and I did. Actually, one of the secret sauces that Andrew did really well is he was great on the phone. He could get anybody in the world to drop their guard and talk with them. He was such a great people person. It would make him feel so comfortable, and they would tell him the deepest, darkest secrets. It was really great. But if you had one or two of those people with that skill sets, get them on your customers and have them ask that question, and you'll be surprised. You don't have to focus on the negative stuff. Find out what they want and get it to them, and that'll blow their hair back.
Well, also, I guess if we consider what customer requests have we rejected in the past that could deserve a second look?
Absolutely. There's an old adage. This is a negative thing, but we can use it as a positive thing. I heard this once. Maybe my dad said it. I don't know. Maybe I just made it up. I could have. But it's, if somebody calls you an SOB, let it go. Somebody's having a bad day. But if 5 people call you an SOB, you should look into the SOB thing. So it makes sense to me. That makes sense to me. So you can use that with the positive. If there was something you might have ignored, but you've heard it more than once, start to pay attention to it, because it could be unmined gold that you've just kind of looked over. Your customers are closer to what you do than you are. Listen to them.
we did a deal for a car dealer client many years ago where we brought all the entire employees together, and we said, okay, we're going to do a focus group here. If budget were no option, so you get people to think bigger, what would you like to see us do to make this a better place to work? And then once we got past everybody wanting a free car and a free house, and then everything, because we did use that qualifier that if budget was not an option, was not an obstacle, it was amazing the things that we were able to get done because we opened the blinders, we removed the blinders. And so tell us about how you create the openness and the freedom for people to share their thoughts.
Well, I think it is imperative that we build involvement. The people that are on the front line, the phrase I like to use is they're closer to the situation than anybody. So if you're not seeking their input, it's almost silly because they're the ones that are hearing it every day. They're interacting with it every day. They probably have things that you can focus in on. So to really listen to, that's at the same time, don't think that because I ask you your opinion that I'm going to get it from you. And I get that from managers all the time. I asked them what their opinion was and they just looked at me like deer in the headlights. And the answer is maybe you never asked their opinion before and they don't know what you really mean. So don't stop. Sometimes it takes a little bit of time to get people to really kind of open up. So the more you ask, the more I'm going to have a tendency to go, they really do want my opinion. At the same time, I also have to train them that just because they give doesn't mean we're going to run with it. So my people know that I'm seeking opinions. I'm not seeking their direction. And so that sets expectations for both sides. They really want my opinion because I'm closer to the situation. They value my opinion. I get rewarded for my opinion. But at the same time, I know that just because they ask it doesn't mean they're going to run off and do it. And so my expectations are set too. And that takes a little bit of training. If you've ever heard the phrase, well, I gave 5 years ago and they didn't use it then, I don't know why they're asking me now, then then what you're lacking is that little bit of setting expectations and somebody using that as an excuse to be lazy and not give an opinion. So you have to just do a little bit of work on that. But I promise you, people want to be a part of it. So ask them.
How can AI help elevate our service delivery?
AI, like anything else, is an amazing tool. So I am loving AI. There was a great question that somebody asked that I really hung on to just recently that has changed the way I'm approaching AI. Most people, here's a statement. Most people are using AI to say, how can I be more efficient? That's the wrong question. The question should be, what can I use AI to help me stop doing? Our fear is they're going to take over my job. And the answer is things are going to change, brothers and sisters. You know, we have some tools that are available to us that are just space age amazing. And that means we are going to adapt. So be adaptable and start going out of your way to tap into some of this technology that can really differentiate ourselves from our competition. I'll give you an example. I have an organization that I'm working with that is using AI just to kind of scrub the email, and they're looking for certain words, and certain words from their customers that come up are flagged and brought immediately to their customer service person, so they don't have to do a lot of investigation. It automatically shows up, hey, here's a list of customers that have had this particular flags done. You may want to look into these. And that has given focus to our customer service manager they've never had before. You know, there's a lot of busy work because I don't know where to put my energies, but now they wake up every day, they turn on their chief of staff, which is an AI person, and they've got a whole list of things to focus on that if they just did those, they're really above the game. AI is an amazing tool. Yeah,
you used the example when you talked about the hotel check-in, they were using a form of AI by knowing the Reuben sandwich and knowing about this and knowing it was a year and a half previous. See, I was paying attention. And so just when you were
go to the first one. It's in the first one.
That's right. But so you go back to that, and so there's ways to use AI with that and know more about your customers and their previous orders or whatever their histories are that make you really look like you're an encyclopedia about nothing but them. So tell us how we measure customer satisfaction and customer enthusiasm.
That's one of the things that's really changed over the years. Is it used to be back in the day, they used to be that it's so difficult to measure customer experience. How do you measure experience? Well, there's lots of ways to measure experience now. Most organizations have a way of tracking customers. The one that really changed the game was Net Promoter Score. I would look into it, Net Promoter Score. If you're in an industry where customer experience is a differentiator, you probably have a system like NPS, Net Promoter Score. And basically, the system, I'll use Net Promoter Score as an example, but it's a way of saying it asks the number one question. If you were asked to be an advocate for us, would you be? Because that is the ultimate response to a great customer experience. Are we the first things you think of without somebody saying, say something positive about our company? If our company just got brought into a conversation, would you go, oh my gosh, let me be an advocate for these people. Let me tell you how much I love these people. Or do you bring us up before we're ever brought up? That's what I want. And that's what Net Promoter Score looks for. That's whenever you have a question between 1 and 10, how would you grade us? That's what was based on Net Promoter Score. 8, 9, and 10 is an advocate. I think it's like 5, 6, 7 is neutral, which is death, and 4 below is a person who's a hater. And where they fall kind of gives us an idea. Andrew and I used this with a worldwide organization that to help them get their hands around where do they stand. And so we had them use the Net Promoter Score, and what we really emphasized was, folks, we may have 8, 9s, and 10s. That means we're doing some things that people love. But if you really wanted to change the game, who do you focus on? Do we focus on the detractors? Yes, there are some problems that are happening. But where the biggest change is in the people that are neutral. And here's how you know you have an issue. Because a neutral is someone who goes, yeah, no, I paid for service with them. They were great. They were good. Well, do I have an option? Can I go over there? I might. Let me go check them out. That's the death of neutral. 8, 9, and 10 is I'm not leaving. These are my people. Neutral is, no, I got what I wanted, but they don't stand out and I will change immediately. How many times have you changed, cell providers? How many times have you changed? Your loyalty is what Net Promoter Score goes for. So something that generates how do my customers see us is where you start to truly understand where you stand with your customers. Would you promote us?
How would we measure referrals? Excuse me. How are we able to measure referrals that we can attribute to exceptional customer service?
Well, I think anybody that refers you is because of great experience. I think rarely would you have somebody who goes, oh, let me give you a name to call. That is not going to be a person that says, I love their product, I hate their people. Unless they tell you. They may make a caveat with that. But trust me, if the experience is happening where they would recommend you and they have a bad experience with the people, they're either not going to recommend you or they're going to give you a caveat. I love their product. Don't call in for service. That's what you hear.
And finally, what could we do that would cause a customer to tell their story about us for years?
I'm going to start with go back to where we started. NPS is a very simple thing. The bottom line is do what you do and do it well. That is job one. That's what they pay for. But I want you to find ways to do 3 things. I want you to teach your people, equip your people, set up systems and processes for your people, internal and external, to be random and unexpected. I didn't see it coming. You guys are nuts. You guys are crazy. I just love working here, or I love working with you. Be out of proportion to the circumstances when you can. That was a wow, holy crud. Or bring the play. Bring a positive experience that makes people go, I just feel better about me when I'm around you. Do those 3 things, and I promise you, you will set yourself apart from your competition.
Well, Michael Hoffman, thank you so much, Mr. Positively Outrageous Service. Thank you for being our guest today for 15 on Fridays with Fletch. As always,
For the last year with Michael Hoffman. My gosh, John, that was long.
I know it's been a long, long time, but I've got to tell you, you are the man, and you are continuing to bring forth everything that our friend Scott Gross wrote. And when he was an incredible speaker, you're bringing forth everything that Andrew Szabo shared the stage with you on. Thank you so much for being such an ambassador and such an example for positively outrageous service.
You bet, buddy. Appreciate you. Call me anytime.